Grace and peace to you. Welcome to Morning Watch. I'm Rob, one of the pastors here at White Plains. Glad to have you with us today on a Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Owl. Let's see. This is where we gather for a song and a thought for the day, so glad you're with us whenever you're watching. Thanks for being here. Morning, Kenna. Morning, Vernon. Morning, Terry. Good morning, Emma. All right, well, let's begin our time together by going to God in prayer. I watch this morning for the light that the darkness has not overcome. And I watch for the fire that was in the beginning and that burns still in the brilliance of the rising sun. I watch for the glow of life that gleams in the growing earth and glistens in sea and sky. I watch for your light, O God, in the eyes of every living creature, and in the ever-living flame of my own soul. If the grace of seeing were mine this day, I would glimpse you in all that lives. O Lord, grant me the grace of seeing this day. Grant me the grace of seeing. Amen and amen. Morning, Faye. Morning, Robin. No worries, Steve. All right. So I'm still really enjoying playing around on this 12 string, as I have for a while. And here's a song I hadn't played on it yet. You know, I'd probably just sit and listen to that for 30 minutes. All right, here we go. Comes a time when you're drifting. Comes a time when you settle down. Comes a light, spirits lifting. Lift that baby right on off the ground. We took our souls and we flew away. We were right, we were giving. It's how we gave what we gave away. Oh, this old world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder touch. Neil Young, comes a time. I still think Live Rust, live concert album by Neil Young, is one of my favorite albums of all time. It starts acoustic, with that song and Sugar Mountain and a couple of other acoustic songs, and then it just builds to all the electric, high energy stuff. Yeah. Morning, Keith. All right, so that's sort of a timeless song, and here's a very timeless reading. I'm really enjoying this book. Hope you are as well. It's very different than some of the spiritual classics that we've read, and a lot of very broad, just a cross section of perspectives. Yesterday we had the simple faith of prayer in a quiet church. Today is basically a manifesto on humanism from Robert Heinlein. Again, this is from the 1950s radio series. It's introduced by Edward R. Murrow, which means you can probably find this online. I'm going to probably go look this up and see if we've got Heinlein reading this from the original. It's called Our Noble Essential Decency. Our Noble Essential Decency by Robert A. Heinlein. I'm not going to talk about religious beliefs, but about matters so obvious that it is gone out of style to mention them. I believe in my neighbors. I know their faults, and I know their virtues far outweigh their faults. Take Father Michael down our road a piece. Now, I'm not of his creed, but I know that goodness and charity and loving kindness shine in his daily actions. I believe in Father Mike. If I'm in trouble, I'll go to him. My next door neighbor's a veterinary doctor. Doc will get out of bed after a hard day to help a stray cat. No fee, no prospect of a fee. I believe in Doc. I believe in my townspeople. You could knock on any door in our town and say, I'm hungry, and you'll be fed. And our town is no exception. I've found the same ready charity everywhere. For the one who says, to heck with you, I've got mine, there are 100, 1,000 who will say, sure, pal, sit down. I know that despite all warnings against hitchhikers, I can step on the highway, thumb for a ride, and in a few minutes a car or a truck will stop and someone will say, climb in, Mac, how far are you going? I believe in my fellow citizens. Our headlines are splashed with crime, and yet for every criminal there are 10,000 honest, decent, kindly men and women. If it were not so, no child would live to grow up. Business could not go on from day to day. Decency is not news. It is buried in the obituaries, but it is a force stronger than crime. I believe in the patient gallantry of nurses, in the tedious sacrifices of teachers. I believe in the unseen and unending fight against desperate odds that goes on quietly in almost every home in the land. I believe in the honest craft of workmen. Take a look around you. There never were enough bosses to check up on all that work. From Independence Hall to the Grand Coulee Dam, these things were built level and square by craftsmen who were honest in their bones. I believe that almost all politicians are honest. For every bribed alderman, there are hundreds of politicians, low paid or not paid at all, doing their level best, without thanks or glory, to make our system work. If that were not true, we would never have gotten past the 13 colonies. I believe in Roger Young. You and I are free today because of endless, unnamed heroes from Valley Forge to the Yalu River. I believe in and I'm proud to belong to the United States. Despite our shortcomings, from lynchings to bad faith in high places, Our nation has had the most decent and kindly internal practices and foreign policies to be found anywhere in history. And finally, I believe in my whole race. Yellow, white, black, red, brown. In the honesty, courage, intelligence, durability, and utter goodness of the overwhelming majority of my brothers and sisters everywhere on this planet. I'm proud to be a human being. I believe that we have come this far by the skin of our teeth. That we always make it just for the skin of our teeth. But that we will always make it. Survive and endure. I believe that this hairless embryo with the aching, oversized brain case and the opposable thumb, this animal barely up from the apes, will endure longer than his home planet, will spread out to other planets, to the stars and beyond, carrying with him his honesty, his insatiable curiosity, his unlimited courage, and his noble, essential decency. This I believe with all my heart. Emma writes, this writing really hits home. I grew up in a neighborhood where we all cared for each other. We had a nurse, a plumber, my piano teacher, a high school guidance counselor, and so on. We called on each other and our doors were always open. Our Sunday dinner almost always had a neighbor at the table. And there was always enough. I believe in good neighbors. That's great. You know, I'm reminded by your writing, Emma, that and by Heinlein's that of an Appalachian service project that I was on many years ago, and one of our young people made a real brilliant statement. The Friday night on ASP, which Jason and the crew just got back from last weekend, Friday night is always the debrief night. You know, you kind of sit around in a circle and what have you learned? What has this week meant to you? That sort of thing. And one of our young men said at one of those gatherings that he had learned that the people here in Appalachia had something that we didn't back in Cary. Now, again, so this is a well-to-do kid brought up by great parents, but with every opportunity to succeed. But here in Cary, right? And he said that back home we had everything we needed. He had everything he needed. His parents had everything he needed. He didn't really know his neighbors, right? But in Appalachia, they needed each other. If they needed a door fixed, they didn't call a repairman. They got their neighbor to come over and hold it in place while they repaired it themselves. They had a resource. He called it human resources that we were missing. I thought that was a brilliant observation. Thanks, Kenna. Yeah, I think y'all know who Robert Heinlein is. Robert A. Heinlein won 4 Hugo Awards during his 50-year career as a science fiction writer. Born and raised in Missouri, he graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1929. He did aeronautical engineering for the Navy during World War II. Heinlein's books include Starship Troopers and Stranger in a Strange Land. The doors of his mouth. Yeah, I've read some Heinlein. I was more into Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke were my 2 stalwart sort of hard science fiction authors that I loved growing up. But I read some Heinlein as well. Good stuff. Yeah, and it's, of course, when we read something like this from the 1950s, we are always tempted to say, well, yeah, but what would he say now? What would he say about our politicians now? Or what would he say about crime or this or that? But I think his comments on decency still hold. I'm convinced, Cheryl and I have said this for many years. I mean, we are at war right now with another country. However you want to call it, it's war. But I'm convinced that if we took an average Iranian citizen off the streets or family and put them together with us, they would want the same things that we want. Peace, security for their children, essential necessities. I'm not trying to simplify things. I'm just saying, at our core, the vast majority of humanity does share this common decency that he's talking about. Of course, where he and I might differ, and I don't know a lot about Heinlein's religious faith, but I believe that decency was put there by a creator, by a loving God who crafted humanity in the very image of relationship, of a triune being in relationship with God's self, right? And designed us to be in relationship with each other and with God. My prayer for them, Father, is that they would be one, just as you and I are one. All right, folks. I read Heineken. Gotta love spell check, Terry. All right. Well, I'll leave that there. Thank y'all. Thanks for being here. May you find peace and purpose in this day. I'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another Morning Watch. Take care.